There is a secret formula that the top 1% of brands like AG1, IM8, and Grunts are all using that you're in the dark about. And so I've decided to go ahead and legally steal their entire marketing funnel that has enabled them to scale as rapidly as they have, so that you can finally scrape past 500K per month with a guarantee. So this is going to be your single source of truth for exactly how to set up a top of funnel, and most importantly, going into detail of the middle of funnel. I'm going to cover the exact ads that they're running, the landing page they're leading people to, and most importantly, how they're capturing information, what they're using as their conversion funnel in terms of welcome flow, cart abandonment, checkout abandonment, their cadence of send, and how they have been able to acquire customers at such a scale without outspending you. So with that being said, I'm going to go into all the details here.
So take a look at all of the things that I've broken down. Like, I'm really going to go into as much detail as possible, but let's start with the ads, because that is obviously what is generating all of the traffic. Now, one of the best brands that runs ads undoubtedly is Grüns. Grüns does it in such a great way where they break it down per interest point of their customers. This way, it gives them really fine tuning of their customer targeting, but the rest of the funnel has to match it, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you. So first up, they run a ton of ads for gut, and then what they do is they will lead these people. So they do a variation of image-based ads that are a little bit quirky, meme-based, and then they do kind of more product-focused, and then more influencer-focused and collabs. So you can see that they have multiple pages that are running all of these, and most importantly, they have these where they are collaborating with specific users. So take a look at that. Now, this is all gut focused, right? So if you go through, you'll see that they run very specific gut focus. So tummy issues, things like that, and then making sure that it is all gut focused. Then what happens is they lead you to this learn page. This is the biggest thing that they do. They're not trying to just push a conversion, which is interesting because most people do want to optimize for conversion, which is fair enough. But they have this banner that tells them exactly what their offer will be. But most importantly, they're giving an article, so it doesn't seem like they're just trying to sell you. But they have this top part of the article. This is the most important, obviously, the hook of the article and the blog. And for people that already trust this product, they're just going to click here, save 52%, which is an insane offer. And then they can scroll down and they show you more information about the products in general. And you can see that every single landing page is specific to the pain point. So healthy gut. And then they run a series of ads for weight loss. So these are kind of GLP-1s, Ozempics, take. And so you can see how they do all of this is mostly image-based, and then they have some more visual video-based ones. Then what they do is, again, they lead you to a different page. And look at this. Same setup, but the difference is now this. This is the headline. So they're teaching people how to lose weight with their product. Then we scroll down to the actual product mention, and this has changed a little bit. I just copy pasted the previous one, and this one instead says weight loss. So they're really fine tuning the entirety of their funnel. They run very specific pain point based ads, like this one is just on health in general. So superfoods, nootropics, things like that, and then they lead to this one. So different kind of setup, but same-ish. And so they say, you have nutrition gaps, fill them. Here's the call to action. Then they scroll down, they give you a little bit of an infographic here, give you some stats, but it's still a little bit more bloggy. And then again, they give you this, but with a different headline. So everything works in unison. And they go down below, and if you scroll further down, they have a ton of reviews, they have a ton of user videos to build trust, they have an us versus them. So they really are targeting everything. So if you don't trust this product, now you absolutely do, because they're teaching you more about it. Then let's take a look at Magic Mind, because they do a similar thing, but not to that degree. They're running a ton of different offers, but their offers are slightly different because they are specifically pushing their offer. So 50% off plus free shipping, 58% off plus free shipping, limited time offer, 50% off plus free shipping. So you can see these are the main call to actions, but the difference is that they change their copy and they change who they are promoting. So they're promoting a bunch of these influencer kind of videos, which is great, this podcast style, which is really good as well. And then they lead you to this page. Again, it's a little bit less of just a conversion page. There's a specific landing page for their ads, and you can see, discover the secret to less stress. This is just an error on the page. Save $250. This is the most attractive offer. So the key here with these brands is that, number one, they are running very specific ads. So specific ads, let me make this bigger. They're running very specific ads. That's number one, that they're doing incredibly, incredibly well. Then the next thing that they're doing is they're leading people to a learn page. Build trust, right? And then the most important thing in all of this that is hidden is they have a very attractive offer. And this is really what gets the whole funnel moving, is this. But now the rest of the journey needs to match, because the trick doesn't stop at the learn more page where they just place an order and they get redirected. The trick is that after this, you get a sign-up form with said attractive offer, and now you go to unlock it. So what happens is on all of these pages, every single brand does the same thing, and there's some commonalities. There's a strong offer, number one, they're asking for interest, number two, and it's a full page pop-up. So take a look at this. Grüns, when you go onto their page, doesn't matter what page, but usually they learn more page that you get redirected to. They immediately say, hey, unlock your 52% off, and all you have to do is share what problem you're trying to solve. There's a reason that this works so well. First of all, it takes up the whole screen. You have no option but to pay attention to this. This is the first and only thing that you see, say 50% off. Half price off a product is always the most attractive offer. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to answer this because it's easy. And now it feels less transactional. It's like this micro buy-in into the brand. And this is what all the best brands are doing, is a pop-up form that immediately asks for interest so you can retarget them later. So what happens here is we get that 52% off and we'll choose something. So let's just say we choose gut health. Next up, it says, okay, perfect. Now to unlock your offer, just give us your email so we can send it to you. Self-explanatory. You order fill this, easy, continue. Now you have the option to do your SMS and then you go to a success page. It's that simple. So super, super easy. And now you have way more information about your user, and we'll come to that and why that is so important. Then what happens with Magic Wand? Same thing. Full page pop-up. Take a look at this. There's an X in the corner to exit out, but over here, strong offer. This is the first thing you see. You want 50% off plus free gifts. Absolutely. Go to choose your interest. Let's say we choose focus. We move on. Same setup. Look how identical this is. This is the best setup. Then you're going to go ahead, put your email address, easy. And over here, you're going to put your phone number, and then you have a success page and you get redirected, which is super important, right? And then you can just check your email for a code. So this is what these two brands do incredibly well. So easy to rebuild in your ESP. I have another video about this. But if we go down, there's two other brands that do this incredibly well. And there's something different that they do that works incredibly, incredibly well. And it's become a common tactic in 2026 that performs so remarkably well, right? So this is Breeze, and Breeze specifically, they don't do a full page, but they do a pop-up, and they're still asking for interest, but now the difference is that they have a mystery offer, right? So from here, they want that mystery, and then they have another set of questions, which I wouldn't recommend. Then they ask for your email so they can send you up, right? Send you that offer. Then here, they immediately show you your offer, and which is incredible. It's like such an easy way to digest what your offer is, especially if it's a tiered sale, right? So they immediately get your information, and then it's a success page. Here, the Soy does the same thing, mystery discount. Now, the mystery discount mechanism works really, really, really well for brands when you want to split test something. Mystery discount works well because then in the follow-up funnel, you can surprise them with a discount, and so they've already bought into what that might be, and they don't have a preconceived idea of what discount they're getting. The only time you don't want to use a mystery discount is when you have such a strong offer that beats anything else you could send to them. 50% off plus free gifts, why would I not want to know that rather than a mystery discount? So if your offer that you're willing to give is weak, then I would recommend that you do a mystery offer. So they have a mystery offer, you choose your interest as per usual. So it's always offer and then choose your interest. Then step number 2, get your email address, super simple. Then ask for your phone number. And then what they do incredibly well, which I recommend for all brands, is make sure that you go over here and then on your success page, you actually give them the code to copy paste so they don't have to be redirected. Then you redirect them to your store. You don't want to complicate this process, right? Now, this is where the journey starts. You've run the ads, you've gotten the customer to your page. Now you've acquired that customer's information so that you can retarget them and get a higher conversion on first-time customers and hopefully increase non-buyers to purchase, right? So now it comes to the welcome flow. The welcome flow is one of the most important things that you're going to lead your customers to. And most importantly, remember earlier we were asking for interest and we were having ads that were based on interest. The reason why that's so important is because then you can personalize the experience for the customer so they're seeing things that they actually want to see and their conversion increases. And the only way to do that is to make sure that your welcome offer matches the reason why they signed up. So if I chose gut as my problem, Would it not make more sense, and would it not appeal to a customer to know more about gut health and why this appeals to gut health? And that's exactly what they do. They immediately give the offer over here. Super simple. Then they give additional information. This is how a good gut feels, or this is how to get a good gut feeling, right? So they are talking about their interests that they specifically targeted. Then they send a bunch of different things. So they send an us first them, works incredibly well. They give more information. So this is, brain support, because I chose that as a separate one. And if you chose brain support, take a look at how different this form is, or the flow is. Now they have an infographic on brain food. They break down exactly why you need it. They break down these interesting information pieces about how this product helps your brain. And so they are specifically changing the messaging based on what you choose, which is the most important thing you can do. Now, let's take Magic Mind, for example. They didn't have interest-based because their product serves one purpose. And so instead, they're really dialing in on that focus. Now, if you take a look, they immediately show that, hey, get your welcome offer, and they have a call to action over here. Then lower down, they break down exactly how you're going to reach your goal, because that's one of the pain points that customers probably have, is how long will it take for me to see results with your product? They break it down super simply. And keep in mind, this email is so simple. Same as the first one from Grunes. It's not a super lengthy email. It's super short. It shows some trust factor with some reviews. And Magic Mind's one just explains exactly what the customer needs to know, right? And then this one, clearly a big pain point for them is, what is the experience going to be like? Is this a product that's actually going to help? How do I tell the difference of if it is helping? And so you can see they consistently talk about the experience. They talk about the journey. Now, what they do is they use people that are trustworthy. They're using these founders, because that's who they're pitching to, is these high performance individuals. And they're using that as a trust factor. These are people that are well known, and they're using this product, and they left their review. So this is kind of a review section done very tastefully, and then they reiterate the offer. So all they're doing is they keep reiterating pain points. Now what they do is they get a little bit more granular about, hey, this is what's actually in the welcome kit, and this is why you probably want it. Then they say, this is exactly what's in it, and these are the free items, right? So this sounds a whole lot better than the price that it probably is. And then you can obviously get redirected. And then the last one is a espresso shot sale, is what we call it. So it's just this quick, hey, that offer that we offered you, it's going to expire, right? Like, we need you to make a decision now. We don't want you to lose out on your free gifts, blah, blah, blah. So this is an incredible way to run a welcome flow. And if you want to pause this video, copy the direction of these emails, I highly recommend it. But there's a few things these have in common. Number one, they're speaking specifically to their target audience and what their pain point probably is. They understand their audience well enough. So let's just say that you are a wellness brand. You need to understand where the majority of your customers are coming to you for sleep, performance, or stress. And from that, you need to then cater the messaging to those people so that they know their pain points. They know what and why they should buy your product. Or let's say you're a clothing brand, which we work with a ton of clothing brands, jewelry brands, wellness brands. But let's say that you are a jewelry brand or a clothing brand. The difference in the pain points is going to be different. It is a sizing pain point. It's, is this probably going to fit me? Why should I pay this premium price when there is someone like Shein who is super cheap in China that can ship in faster times probably? And so you need to start working on your pain points and understand why customers don't buy your product and why they do, because that's going to feed into each other. Now, what they do really well is they say that I take an action from here, I add something to my cart, and then I never convert. That's where this flow comes in great hand. And the mistake that most brands make is they are leaving their cart and abandonment emails to about 2 or 3 maximum. And you can see over here, both of them do a minimum of 6 emails. So let's take a look at what they're doing really well. First up, the cart abandonment email for Grunes is simple. They show exactly what you left behind. They're way less granular, so they're not personalizing this to every individual pain point. They're not saying, hey, your gut needs this, don't leave it behind. They're just saying, hey, your cart is waiting for you, complete your order. And then they show immediately what you left behind. They're not taking up a ton of space in this email. If anything, you open up your mobile, you're going to see this immediately. You're going to know exactly how to take action. But what they do, though, really well, is they add these infographics for additional information, and they break down their product a little bit more in detail. The second one is so important. What they do is they have this breakdown of exactly what their product does without making it lengthy and without using words, because that's a huge issue that companies do with their emails. Is they have this incredible funnel, but then they think that their audience wants to read. They don't. No one reads emails. They skim them. And so what they do really well is they're saying, complete your order now and save more, which is a very appealing offer. Now I immediately see what this product helps with. So that is, my buyer's remorse is completely solved because I know what it does. I see exactly what I left behind, so I can easily redirect. And over here, so important in your abandonment series is trust. So making sure that your audience trusts your product by showing a bunch of people actually holding the product and then this review banner in every single email. Then the third one is, hey, you're just one step away from completing your order, right? And here they're saying exactly how your body utilizes this, and in us versus them kind of. That is super important. So they've done 3 things. Number 1, they've explained their product in more detail in email 1. In email 2, they've built trust. And in email 3, they keep breaking down an us versus them so that you know their product is absolutely the best option. Then over here, almost there, complete your order. So this is kind of a repeat reminder. It looks very identical to number 1 with some differences. And that difference is basically a smart gummy that fills the gap, additional information. Number 5 is just support your healthy habits with healthy nutrition. It feels less cart abandonment, and they add a lot more information. Then the last one, super simple. They say, this is basically a robbery, get a bigger discount today only. So this is going to force the urgency. On your last email, you always want to push urgency and make sure that they know it's their last chance. And again, they reiterate the offer. So super simple. They do such great work on the emails because they're super simple, they're short, they're to the point, and they use infographics instead of words. That's what you should take into it. Then with Magic Mind, they do a very similar thing, 6 emails. Now, email number 1 is they have this finished checkout right at the top. What's interesting is they don't show the products you left behind. They use a little bit more words because their number 1 pain point is different to Grüns. People know Grüns and they trust Grüns, and they can show a lot of the explanation through images. Now with Magic Mind, they do need to show how the performance over time will look, because clearly if you just take the product on day 1, you're not going to see results. So they're trying to encourage and show a realistic idea of journey, because so many people probably are wondering, will this work for me? When will it work for me? And so they break down a ton of information that is super simple, and they break down the pain points their customers have. Then they have this claim button, and they have the claim button at the top here. Second email, a little bit less wordy compared to the first one, but still a little bit more. And again, they're just making it super easy to skim. So I can immediately see within 5 seconds, okay, I can claim my offer. It gives me shopper focus, calm energy, and compounding benefits. Great. Now I trust them a little bit more because they've included this. Now the next email, they're gradually getting shorter. This one, again, they now throw in a new offer that is a no-brainer. Try Magic Mind for 100 days, risk-free. Immediately grabs my attention. Then I can go and get that offer. Then they show, now this is the first email that they actually show what you left behind, which is the welcome offer. And then they throw in these free items. So take a look at this. They throw in these 3 items, and these are just basically no cost to them. It's just a digital workbook, an ebook, and then an app subscription for 90 days for free. So why wouldn't you get this? Then you want, okay, yes, I want my 58% off, right? And then the next one, simpler, they have this infographic, they redisplay the free offers over here, and then they start really dialing in on those free items and making sure you know. And this is one of their best emails, in my opinion. They mention their, exactly why they should be trusted. They showed this, which is incredible. Like, to me, this is such a good infographic to show you what the product does. And then they show all of their items again. Then the last one, kind of a reiteration, but this one is the shortest one. And then over here, they break down all of the pain points that they probably have. So the reason why this works so incredibly well is because they're targeting pain points. They're making the email simple, and they understand their audience. They're not trying to overcomplicate anything. And the amount of revenue that they're recovering compared to other brands who only have 2 emails is remarkable, because every email targets a new pain point. Now when we go down, right? After they have entered the funnels, right? So you've run ads, you got their email, you've got an incredible submission rate because you're getting tons of interest-based and people want to submit, so you get a ton more emails. Then you put them through this welcome journey over here. Then you give them through an abandonment series over here. So you're really well dialed in and optimized. But now what happens to the people that don't convert from this? Or what happens to the people that are buyers? Now you need to send emails to them. And that's where email cadence comes in, right? And so I have gone and broken down every single top brand that I've just spoken about. And I have shown you exactly how many emails to send per month and what they're sending and why it works. So let's take a look at Magic Mind. They send 14 emails average a month. Desoy sends 21 emails a month. And Breeze sends about 37 a month. Now 37, in my opinion, is way too much. But granted, they are sending during sales periods as well, running different sales and making sure they're doing resends. But I still do think that there is way, way too much. 21 is a really good sweet spot. It's intentional. It's great because you can also send multiple times to different users. That's the difference. If Breeze was sending 37 emails to different segments, I would say that it's a completely different approach and 37 is perfect. But I, as one user, got all of these emails in my inbox as a non-buyer. And so at what point do they stop sending to you if you're a non-buyer? Or at what point do they diversify? So that's the only thing I would say about Breeze. But in general, 21 sends a month is actually really healthy. And you'll notice all of them split their sends between plain text and image-based. And if you're not doing this, you're losing a lot of money. Now, let's take a look at their sends, right? So Grüns, they're very intentional with their sends. They continuously run the exact same offer, which is obviously an ongoing offer that they have, and they send this to non-buyers. Now, what they do is they keep every email as intentional to try and get you to convert. And so what they do really well is they're talking about these things that are really appealing. They have one simple hook. So summer starts with how you feel. This is true. And now I'm going to think, okay, well, I want summer to be great. And this is very intentional or aligned with the seasons, which is great. And here they explain this a little bit more. Then we take a look at their other sends. Keep in mind that everything is super digestible. They're using a ton of imagery and they're breaking it down so that you are very easily skimming through, right? And so if I just zoom out, I can tell even from this distance that, okay, one simple habit, great. So this is just something I can continuously take. No worries. It helps the brain or bones, brain, and digestion. And there's some reviews, so I really trust them. And now I can see that people are actually using the products. Zooming in, obviously way more information, but very few people are actually reading emails. Same as this one. This is thoughtfully formulated, and here I can see why. This is the ingredients they've chosen. And this is how it works. So from even a distance where you can't even read the wording, you know exactly what this product does, and that is a truly good email. Now let's take a look at what are their plain text ones. They don't often do them, but when they do it very intentionally. So this, super simple. Congratulations, you wait until the absolute best last moment, blah, blah, blah. And this is just a super plain text to the point with a call to action. Works really, really well. You should try this. Now let's go take a look at Magic Mind. Magic Mind are some of my favorite emails out of any brand in history of email marketing. So take a look at this. Every email has one core focus and they don't prolong it with fluff because a lot of brands can do that. Here, you heard it here first, and they just build trust. They're showing different areas of commentary. So Instagram comments, Instagram messages, Facebook comments. These 4 categories of, reviews or people reaching out, and they're showing what they've said about the products. Then you can try it for 100-day risk-free. And notice that they continuously run the same offers as their welcome flow. They keep it very adjacent, which is important and congruent. Then let's take a look at this. So they continuously reiterate their offer in the banner. They're not making it their primary focus in every campaign, but they absolutely are making it a banner. And now what they're doing is just need to build additional trust. So trust what you're tasting. And then they have a patented formula, third-party tested, 100-day guarantee. These are obviously the pain points that they know work really well. And then most supplements cut corners, throwing stones at people. Really, really good infographics, to be honest. Nothing to lose but your brain fog. Super important. So just really quickly, skimmable. I understand as a non-buyer what this product does. Same as this one, you don't need more energy, you need the right kind. This is a great hook because you're going to wonder what that actually means. Then you're going to see all of this and you can start your journey. So see how simple and small the emails are. Sometimes there's a lot of information, but they keep it very simple. Now, what they do incredibly well, and they're honestly one of the best in the game, is plain text emails. You can see how they change it up, right? They have this one, which is non-branded at all. And this seems genuinely personal. They say, hey, just last call, our mental starter set plus free gifts offer ends. and they just give additional information, and then they have a call to action. This is exactly how you need to build your plain text emails. Make it lengthy, and you have one simple or two simple call to actions in a short time frame. You don't want one call to action over here, and then this one here, and then this one as well. You very often just want to keep one call, plain text foundation, where there's one call to action, right? So you keep this lengthy email. It doesn't seem like you're trying to sell it to them. So it's a soft sell. Soft sells work incredibly well in a world that is super transactional. So I highly recommend this. Then over here, Breeze. Breeze is some of the best designs by a mile. The team is absolutely killing it. I'll give it to them. And so take a look at this. They are really good with breaking down their emails and having a consistent theme. So what they do is, oftentimes, which I haven't included here, they have a recipe email that goes out once a week at least. This is great because then people know how to use their product better. And so it's nice to have this series. So if you think about any algorithm, if you consistently see a reel or a YouTube video that performs well, usually it's a series of videos that you can follow along and you can see the development of it. That is the same thing that you should do with email marketing. It's some kind of series, whether that's an ongoing newsletter, whether it's an ongoing recipe email, whatever it is, or movie nights with Margaret, or whatever it is, and you just have someone that continuously says, hey, this is what I'm watching tonight, and this is what I'm drinking alongside it. So just super fun, like, recipe series emails need to be built in. Now, when you take a look at their average emails, they are, again, they just have a really clean hook. This is the best way to do an email. They break down their experiences. So this is something that I really like that they do, is they break down their products in a very simple way. And this is something you should do if you run a wellness brand, is making sure that they understand how to choose their experience or what the products can be used for. Do the thinking for them. So this is a way to take the edge off. This is the perfect alcohol alternative. This is for the nights you want extra fun. So I know that this one gets me a little bit extra buzzed. This one, somewhat buzzed, but not too much. It's more, like an alternative. And this one is just great for a nightcap, kind of like your nightly wine. So that's perfect. Now I know what their products do just through an infographic, which is great. Then take a look at this one. Keep the feeling, leave the fallout. This, not the best highlight, just is a bit difficult to read. But over here, they explain again. Friday night, this is how you can use the product. Saturday morning, this is how you can enjoy your day because there's no hangover. Same as this one, your body's reset button, sleep. So they are choosing pain points that people really care about, and then they're building a story around it. So what are things around sleep? It's your routine before sleep. It is your rest after sleep. And for example, they know that most of their customers are people that are transitioning from alcohol. So they need to talk about alcohol or negatives that they can play on. So in their case, they consistently compare it to alcohol. They consistently talk about the day after having their drink because there's no hangover and you can still keep the memories you made. So they have to choose an adjacent pain point and focus on that. So if your wellness brand is a competitor to Ozempic, you can talk about how it doesn't break down your muscle mass and talk about things like that are adjacent pain points, but making sure that yours is elevated. So an us versus them in every single email is a really clever way to do things. Now, one of my favorite things that they do is they consistently send plain text emails. And so when we go back and look at their cadence, right? One thing you'll see that Breeze does really, really well is they have built a formula that works incredibly well on their sending. So take a look at this. You can see every so often, pretty much equal amounts to the image-based emails, they're sending plain text emails. So it's almost a one-to-one. They have Corbin from Breeze that often sends out, and once in every so often, maybe once a month, they'll send from Aaron, who's the owner. So it carries a little bit more weight. But when you see Corbin from Breeze, it's just this personal reach out. And this is what that looks like, right? So you can see that it is more just a personal story. They're tying in some storytelling. They're tying in personality, and it's not just a salesy email. And again, one simple call to action. You don't want to complicate this. One call to action, one call to action. Nothing complicated here. They're not saying, hey, get this thing and this thing. It is really just one call to action that performs really well. Now, again, every single one you can see. This is story-based. This is story-based. And then from time to time, they'll send a sale reminder as well. Incredibly powerful. Now, Desoy does exactly what I mentioned. They do recipe emails, and they are so good. This is by far my favorite brand that does email marketing by a mile. And the reason for it is because they're turning things into such an engaging way that makes you want to read their emails. And they don't always lead with sales. So what they do here, see patio season in a new hue, and then they just lead you immediately to the product. But what they do so well is, again, they're doing the picking for you. They're showing you how to use the products. Then what they do is, instead of these boring product highlights, they're making it engaging. Passport support. You're immediately going to pay attention to this and you want to figure out, okay, what is this actually about? Meet us in Melbourne. Here's the recipe. So that series email I was talking about, they hide it in amongst this like really engaging email. They often do a recipe email, which performs so well. Then I love this. This is one of my favorite emails that you should absolutely copy. Is let's play 2 truths and a lie. So instead of making it a boring thing of, breaking down facts and trying to teach people about your product, they're taking unique ways of doing product highlights, like this one. And this one specifically is choosing information about the product that they want to break down. So let's just say you have a wellness brand and you use lion's mane. That can be a fact or a lie that you can talk about, whatever it is. But they're basically talking about how important their product is, and then they break it down. So a glass of wine lowers your cortisol levels. That's a lie. This one is the truth. It disrupts REM sleep even if you drift off faster. So these are just really clever ways to build facts about your products. Then their plain text emails, super simple. Again, you'll notice main call to action, main call to action, main call to action over here. And it's the same call to action over here, but it's basically maximum 2. So they're never listing multiple call to actions or confusing their audience. And what they do is, again, more storytelling. The rushing is slowed, plates are mostly cleared, someone is probably telling the same story again, blah, blah, blah. Then they actually attach some of personal pictures of the family, which makes you feel so much closer to the brand. Like, these are real people behind the brand. This makes you so attracted to it. Such a clever move by them. And then they just have their logo at the bottom, but you'll notice that both of these are unbranded, right? There's no branding anywhere in these emails. That's what makes a plain text email actually work. It's personalized. It actually suits the customer's needs. So they want to see a person reaching out to them rather than this whatever it is. And what they do really well is a plain text reminder for sales, which is always the best formula. Now let's take a look at this overall funnel, right? So overall funnel, you know exactly what ads to run to make sure that you're building a funnel around that, because all of these brands are building funnels around what their ads are talking about. So Breeze, for example, is running ads around alcohol alternatives. And so a lot of their audience is an alcohol alternative interest. And now they know they need to base their entire funnel around that. It would make no sense to run emails or ads about a gut product, and then suddenly you're talking about weight loss, for example, or vice versa. Let's say that it wouldn't make any sense for you to talk about pain in your back. Right? So it doesn't even make sense. You want to make sure that the audience that you're attracting is adjacent and aligned with what your offer is throughout the rest of the funnel. Most brands do it incorrectly. They run really great ads, but then they have an ad team that doesn't actually understand the top of funnel and what is bringing people in, because email is retention. So you have this acquisition channel and then you have your retention channel, and they need to work in unison. But most brands, unfortunately, don't have that layout. They don't have this adjacent strategy where everything works into each other. Instead, they're working as alternative departments or alternative companies sometimes, and it shouldn't be that way. Your ads should always match what is being offered in the welcome flow, in the sign-up form, in the abandonment series, and in your campaigns. If majority of your customers are coming because they want an alcohol alternative, but then you start talking in your campaigns about let's just say that you start talking in your campaigns about better gut health, unfortunately, it's not really going to fly over because they don't really give a shit about that. What they actually care about is their number one pain point is they still want to enjoy their night out, but probably without a hangover. So the second that you start talking about, hey, stop going out and enjoy a weekend with your family and get better sleep, it's like your audience doesn't really care about that. It's a great idea, but it's not their interest. So make sure that whatever you're talking about is actually what is carried through the rest of the funnel. And that's exactly how these brands have a multi-billion-dollar brands, and others are evaluated at way higher. You've seen the acquisition of Grunz. Grunz has just sold for $1.2 billion to Unilever. And the only way they were able to do that is through a very efficient funnel that tied into each other. It was a reliable, scalable method because once they had someone from ads it was very predictable that they were going to become a repeat purchaser because the rest of the funnel worked together. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of guidance on how to actually build your company systems. And if there isn't unison between your ad team and your email team, there needs to be a huge change. And so if you want a team that looks holistically at the entire funnel and make sure that you have the highest conversions, you have the right format and the right formula to success, go down below, book in a call with us. We work with brands that make at least $50,000 per month, and we build your retention system the right way. So go down below, book at that end. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.